James Madison is one of those presidents that their lives are hard to talk about. Not because he did anything particularly that was bad or good, but because all the man did was work. But as with all coverage of someone's personal life hundreds of years ago, it is hard to disseminate facts from legend. For example, there is a legend of Madison and Jefferson getting fined for driving a carriage on a Sunday. Well, why were these two men driving in a carriage on Sunday? If it was against the law, why were they driving in a carriage? They lived about 30 miles apart. That's a long way in a carriage. Then, supposedly, it took place maybe in Vermont. It's not sure, which really adds more mystery to that story. What the heck would the two of them be doing in Vermont? There was no campaigning back then. It was undignified to do so. So I'm probably going to call this one not true. One thing we can come to conclusions on is that James Madison had parakeets, and his wife had a parrot. Dolly's parrot sat on her shoulder as she greeted White House guests. It served sort of as an icebreaker. Dolly's parrot sometimes, however, would have to be hushed, occasionally because it had what you could say was a foul mouth. In the War of 1812, Dolly had to flee the White House because the British were close. She got the bird to the French embassy for its protection. Some parrots can live for decades. Dolly's parrot, called, by the way, Polly, was still alive when James Madison died. It is unclear what happened to Polly. Madison was not a big drinker or a big eater. He had problems with his stomach, but he did like sweets, and his favorite was ice cream. He also liked spoon bread. We don't have great details on what he liked like as an everyday meal, but being from Virginia, it is assumed that he liked the traditional Virginia ham, buttery rolls, and an apple pie. But we don't really know that. Madison is not also known for paying much adherence to music. He had a flute, but there is little indication that he could play it. The few times he drank, it was usually whiskey or champagne. He did, however, like a good game of chess, sometimes with Monroe, sometimes with Thomas Jefferson. Be really interesting to know who won those matches.